I ran him down.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
I did what I had to do. I let the system take care of the rest.
Oh, you and your goddamn system. You and your goddamn system. Christ! So what now? Every day Bullseye goes to the chow hall, eats his slop. You know he gets to breathe the same air that you breathe. You feel good about that? He got life! How about old Foggy? He got life.
Frank Castle and Matt Murdock reunite as they continue to argue and debate about the moral complexities of revenge and justice in Marvel Television's Daredevil Born Again. All right, Bryan, Daredevil Born Again. So,
how long ago was the first season?
2015, I believe.
So this show has been around for a decade?
Yeah, but this is not season 4, right? This is season 1, right?
I honestly don't know. Like, I'm watching Daredevil Born Again, and I'm going like, is this the same Daredevil that was in She-Hulk? This doesn't feel like the same Daredevil that was in She-Hulk.
No, it doesn't. But, I mean, it's all part of one universe, so now it's
too confusing. I mean, it's not even confusing. It's not interesting. Like, I really don't care where Daredevil Born Again fits alongside Avengers Endgame or Fantastic Four First Steps. Yeah. I think we could just approach Daredevil Born Again as its own thing because the show really, that's all it's concerned with.
Yeah, I mean, there are cameos to make you think, I mean, to let you know that it is part of the MCU, but when I look at these shows, and for me in general, when I look at even the movies in the MCU, I don't look at it as it all tied together. I try to just focus and watch it as a singular thing.
Just tell me a good story.
Just tell me a good story. We say that all the time. So with Daredevil Born Again, it is kind of continuing the story from the Netflix shows, bringing in Karen and Foggy.
But also taking into account the backstory from Hawkeye and Echo a little bit, right? Especially with Fisk.
With Fisk as well. So I do want to say this will be spoilers because the show's been out, and I guess especially what happens in the first episode.
Yeah, spoil what you want to spoil, Bryan.
Yeah, so I mean, the first episode, they kill Foggy. Bullseye targets Foggy and kills him.
And I like, in some ways, that's kind of when I checked out.
Really?
Yeah, like it just, it's a motivation. They fridge Foggy.
Yeah.
And poor Foggy. Like, to me, so much of the joy of Daredevil is the relationship between Matt and Foggy.
Yeah.
And to remove that, to send Matt down this path of despair, which Matt always has to explore. His confrontation with his faith is critical to the character.
Yeah.
But, we get Daredevil in costume, and then we got to get Daredevil out of costume. And I just thought that was a little tired, and robbed us of some story that I think could have been enjoyable if Foggy had been present. I think the action of that sequence, the battle on the rooftop with Bullseye, it's pretty good. It's solid.
Yeah.
It's not as good as the action that we got in the Netflix series, in my opinion.
Yeah, to me, I think a lot of people talk about that first episode, and as far as like the choice to kill Foggy off, I still debate that. I wrestle with that myself. But going to the technical aspects of the filmmaking of it, when I compare that to the original first 3 seasons on Netflix, like they're using a lot more mocap. You could tell in some of those shots because they're doing a oneer because again they want to pay homage to what Netflix has done with those first 3 seasons. But there's shots in there, and then of course when they're having the fight in the bar in Josie's bar. Bullseye does this smoke bomb where you can't really see anything, so it's using that to mask a lot of stuff.
Right.
And I just think that some of that just doesn't. It doesn't look appealing.
Yeah, but it does fall into the problem with a lot of Marvel movies is that they're just stretched too thin, visual effects wise, right?
But then I'm thinking to myself, it's like in the Netflix shows, if you can use real stunt people and real choreography and real act, like why can't we do that
I think,
here?
There are a lot of issues with the production of Daredevil Born Again.
Well,
right?
that's true.
Right? Like,
that's very true.
A lot of the first half of this season, they are trying to cobble together something different than what was intended.
Yeah, that's true.
And
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to get a great thing as a result. It's rare when you re-glue a thing for it to be as pretty as the original object. Like the concept of Daredevil is so good, right? The crime fighter who's also a lawyer, and he has to balance those two worlds. And you know, the courtroom sequences, especially the White Tiger sequences, I want them to be so riveting, but they're pretty dull in this. I feel like we're falling into some Law and Order rerun territory with Daredevil Born Again's courtroom scenes. John Barenthal coming back as the Punisher. There is something so magnetic about him as a performer, and his interpretation of Frank Castle is compelling.
It is extremely compelling. I mean, and the interactions that he has with Matt Murdock, I think John Barenthal and Charlie Cox, they work well together. And when you see them, just even in the scene, the scene where they meet for the first time in the episode, and then when he comes back in the season finale, when you see the two of them together, you're like, it almost makes you want a Punisher Daredevil series.
Yeah,
I would love to see something with the two of them.
Give me a movie, a Marvel team-up film. But here's the problem, and I think this is a problem that we've talked about with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier in particular, is the show goes to a place that has some political fire to it, right? You think about John Walker holding the shield, cutting that person's head off, being filmed by everybody on their iPhones, like the symbol of America, severing this dude's head. Oh my God. Isaiah Bradley, the truth of Isaiah Bradley and how he was exploited by the American government. You know, like, oh, this is prickly. This is interesting. And then the Falcon and the Winter Soldier just like goes like, nah, never mind. Bucky can high five John Walker at the end. Okay, whatever. If you say so, bring on Thunderbolts. Daredevil Born Again, here we are, the police of New York City are using the symbol of the Punisher, which is a real life thing. You know, you see the Punisher skull being used by the extreme right. You see the Punisher skull being used in the military. You see the Punisher skull being used by the police. And, you know, the Punisher as a concept is an anti-systemic thing. Like, the Punisher shouldn't be your symbol, but here we are, weirdly, these cops are now using it in show. Let's steal something with that. And Disney's not going to do it. Disney's scared. Disney doesn't want to talk politics.
I mean, they brush over it. It's all surface level. I mean, Fisk has this task force of basically all of dirty cops, and now they're going out trying to round up all the vigilantes. And these dirty cops use the symbol of Frank Castle. They look up to Frank Castle. But even Frank Castle at in the season finale is telling them, it's like, look, I wouldn't, like, you guys are clowns. Like, this is not, you don't, like, he even says it. He's like, you guys don't understand my pain. You don't feel my pain. And it goes to what you're saying. It's like, you're using this symbol, but you don't know what he's actually going through.
To what you're saying, it's surface level. It's not actually challenging. They don't want to upset too many people in the making of Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
But Charlie Cox, so good as Matt Murdock.
He is. All the
Vincent D'Onofrio
as Fisk is great. Again, we just talked about John Barenthal. I will say this before we get out of this segment, is that with this being kind of a Frankenstein of a show and being cobbled together to try to, basically they brought in Benson and Moorhead to try to really just get to the finish line. But I'll say this, with those last two episodes and what they set up, them going into season 2 fresh, with Benson and Moorhead kind of like being the main creators, it does get me excited for what they could do in season 2 with a fresh start.
They are awesome filmmakers. You know, they have made movies like Resolution and Spring, The Endless. These are great independent filmmakers who are jam-packed with ideas. But they've been spending a lot of time in Marvel, Moon Knight, Loki season 2, Daredevil. I kind of want to see them back in the indie film scene.
I would too. But I can't deny that I am excited for season 2. Just whether it was them or somebody else, the fact that you can start fresh and tell this story.
I will show
without-
up just to see what they do without a Frankenstein creation.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like, I will be there for season 2 of Daredevil Born Again,
Yeah.
even if this first season left me feeling pretty cold.
So what's your rating?
I don't know, man. Like, I love Marvel. You know, I'm a Marvel zombie for going way back. It pains me when I don't engage with one of their stories, especially featuring one of my all-time favorite characters of Daredevil. But for me, this is a B-. You can skip it.
I'm right on the edge. I wish we had just a straight B, but no, we got plus or minus. I'm going to slightly tip over to a B plus because I think the character work is so strong, and I am excited for how it ended. I think it ended strong, and it does get me excited for where season 2 can go. But I can't deny that there is a lot left on the table with this first season, and it will be a season that I go back to or think, in reverence of it very fondly. Probably not, but I will give it a slight B plus.
Yeah, you just want more Kingpin ripping dudes' jaws off, tearing their faces apart.
Yeah, I'm still trying to think how he actually does that.
He's very strong.
Very, very strong.
It's all muscle.
Yeah. Even though he has, slimmed down, but still.
Sad.
Yeah.
I need a big Kingpin.
Yeah, exactly.
CGI that Kingpin.
Yeah, put him back in the suit, man. I don't know. All right, guys. So those are our thoughts on Daredevil.
If you liked what you just saw,
Then check us out on YouTube at PGC TV Online, and we'll see you at the movies.